Salute, man. Welcome. Today, man, I want to get into a deep dive on Ashley Pardo or Pardo. I don't know how it's pronounced. But this is the San Antonio mom that's been accused of helping her son orchestrate and plan out the school shooting, man. Even though, they stopped it. This happened about a week ago, in San Antonio, Texas, at Rhodes Middle School, I want to say. Homie showed up to the school with the gear. I don't know if he had the gun on him or not or what, you know what I'm saying? But I want to say he had everything ready to go. But I guess, I don't know. Maybe he didn't have the heart to do it. But from what we're going to see today, that she fully planned and orchestrated this shit and maybe even implanted this in his head to do in the first place. And this is a very peculiar character that we gonna, what I'm saying, talk about it. There's not a lot of information on her, what I'm saying, as far as just yet, of course. But we definitely finna learn some things about her, man. Now I'm reading an article from the BBC News, man. Shit. A Texas mother has been arrested for allegedly buying ammunition and tactical gear for her son, who she knew was planning a mass targeted violence at his school. Why did they call it like mass targeted violence instead of just saying a school shoot? I don't know. Maybe it's BBC. You know what I'm saying? It is a British uh news network. Maybe they can't say school shoot. They got gun laws. It's very strict over there. But prosecutors say Ashley Pardo, 33 years old, and she a millennial. Kind of sucks when you have, excuse me, y'all. The gas, the gas is definitely putting in the work on me right now. But prosecutors say Ashley Pardo, 33, was aware of her son's obsession with violence and intentionally and knowingly aided his violent goals in exchange for him babysitting his younger siblings. Boy, she was on Monday, which was the 12th, because this article is from the 15th of May. Uh, on Monday, the student showed up to Jeremiah Rhodes Middle School in San Antonio, Texas, wearing a mask, camouflage jacket, tactical pants, but left shortly afterward. The police said he was later detained off campus. The mother was arrested the same day after the boy's grandmother called the police to say Miss Pardo had bought the boy a gun. So thank God for the grandmother, huh? Now, maybe you don't know, maybe she could have, what I'm saying, got that boy away from there or something. I don't know how, what I'm saying, what was going on with that. But seems like the grandmother needs to be, what I'm saying, figuring out what we gonna do with this boy, man. If he's that obsessed and shit with these type of things, and his mother is doing nothing but enabling it, we definitely need to figure out what's going on there. On Saturday, the 13-year-old boy's grandmother walked into his bedroom to find him playing with live ammunition and a hammer, according to a police affidavit. She also found a homemade explosive made from firework, on which the boy had written the name of an Australian man who attacked two mosques in New Zealand in 2019. See, another pattern. When these people want to shoot up schools, they usually look up to people who've done mass shootings of some kind of sort or school shootings of some kind of sort. Uh, the grandmother reportedly told police Miss Purdue had taken him to a military surplus store to purchase gear, including ammunition, a tactical vest, and a helmet. Police said that the student, who has not been named, told his grandmother on Monday that he was going to be famous before leaving for school. What the fuck? And what is it about wanting to be and I would say the better word is infamous for this type of shit. We did this like when I was talking about Napoli Ruppenow for y'all. I should go back and check that out. Napoli Ruppenow, the two videos I made on her. She was literally on online chat lines built for school shooters and people who want to shoot up schools, man. You know what I'm saying? Like all they show is mass shootings and people getting murdered in heinous ways, man, on that website. And there's some stuff I really needed to follow up with that because they ended up arresting another guy who was connected to Natalie Ruppenow or Samantha. You know, the boy showed up to school wearing a mask, camouflage jacket, and tactical pants, but shortly left after, authorities said. Investigators and school officials did not know where the student was for a period of time, the court document states. The student was detained off campus and charged with terrorism. The school said in a note to the parents. The note added that he had been investigated for some posts that the student made online. Prosecutors say in January, school officials uncovered a map he had drawn of Jeremiah Rhodes Middle School labeled Suicide Route. Oh, Lord. The student then reportedly told officials that he had a fascination with past mass shooters, including their manifestos. And all of them got one. Uh, in April, he was suspended for using a school computer to research previous mass shootings. Oh man, this boy was really wild. Now he couldn't even wait to get home for this. Obviously, your mom gonna let you do it. You still decide to go to be at school looking at this type of shit. After attending an alternative school, he returned to his middle school on May on the 8th of May. So literally the incident happened May 12th. And that was like a Monday, I want to say. May 8th was like a Thursday. So that boy literally had 2 days of school and literally came up there in some tactical gear on the next one, the weekend afterward. This is wild, man. Officials said Miss Purdue was aware of the threats made by her son. The defendant expresses to the school her support of her son's violent expressions and drawings and does not feel concerned for his behavior, the court document says about Miss Purdue. She was charged with one count of aiding in commission of terrorism. Court documents show she was released for custody on Tuesday after posting a $75,000 bail and is due to return to court on the 17th of July. Now, $75,000. I just got finished talking about the nurse in Virginia, man. We got a $25,000 bill after breaking baby's bones and shit, man. $75,000 bill, man, is kind of low when you literally planning out a school shooting with your son. And 13-year-old, by the way, man. Come on, man. The U.S. police have been increasingly moving to hold parents accountable for their child's violence or their children's violence. Last year, the parents of Michigan school shooter, were convicted of manslaughter for purchasing a gun for their son at his mental health decline. As his mental health decline in Georgia, the father of 14-year-old is facing charges of murder, manslaughter, and child cruelty, the most severe charges against a parent over a U.S. school shooting. The end, man. Now let's go and check out some of this damn video, man. We done read the article. We got a little synopsis on the lady. Let's see what the fuck is going on around this bitch, huh? You know what I'm saying? Brought to you by Law and Crime, man. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to the real ass Law and Crime, man. They always doing deep dives on cases and shit, man.
after her 13-year-old son showed up at school in a mask and tactical gear after he allegedly showed an obsession with mass shootings. And that's not even the most shocking part. Police say she bought all of that gear for him.
Things that were found inside the mother's house, that child's house, which also kind of was an indication to us that we needed to move very quickly.
Police say those things found in the home included magazines, an improvised explosive device, and swastikas. And just wait until you see what this mom posted on social media. Twisted, disturbing quotes and pictures with captions about pain and death. We're on the case, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart. This story may make you angrier as it goes on, based on the information that we're getting from police in San Antonio, Texas, about a couple of recent arrests. Those arrests were of a mother and son. This is the mom, 33-year-old Ashley Pardo. Her son is 13 years old, so police are not releasing information on him right now, but he is still in custody. The mom posted bail, which you also might find shocking based on what I'm about to tell you. Police made the arrests on May 12th after Pardo's son showed up to his school, Rhodes Middle School in San Antonio, wearing a mask and tactical gear. He quickly left the school, so police don't know if he had a gun on him at the time. They were able to arrest him a short time later. Now, this was not the only time that police were concerned about this 13-year-old student, because they say over the course of months, he showed some very disturbing behavior, including an obsession with mass shootings.
So in October, we had a class for CPS that kind of broke down behavior that would be indicative of something that would lead to violence. So they were involved with his family. They noticed things of that nature when dealing with the family, and they reported it to us. So in January, the juvenile was found in school drawing violent pictures. And then in April, he was found researching the mass shooting from Australia on the school computer.
Right there, the Santa.
Yeah, man. Stay on top of your kids, man. Always be paying attention to your child, man. And definitely don't be Ashley, man. And literally, you know what I'm saying, uphold that shit and encourage that shit and support it. But obviously, man, if they finna break down, she was, you know what I'm saying, cuckoos for Cocoa Puffs her damn self, man.
San Antonio chief is talking about mass shootings that happened in Christchurch, New Zealand. That was in 2019. It was an attack that left 51 people dead. You might remember it. A white supremacist attacked multiple mosques. And this is the attack that the San Antonio police chief says the boy in this.
Hey, want that to be peeped out off the rip. White supremacists. This shit is, you know what I'm saying, been a bigger threat to society than anything y'all be trying to throw out there and trying to know how motherfuckers get out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, because that's an extreme ideology, man. That's extreme. You know what I'm saying? After so long, man, it tells you that you have to do these certain things, man. You have to, you know what I'm saying, in order to preserve a certain race and people that ain't even of that race. Because I want to say homegirl is Hispanic, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if she's Hispanic or not. Pardo, I don't know. Pardo, I don't know, man. But yeah, it seems like they always tied to this white supremacy shit. You know what I'm saying? These school shootings, man, and all this taking back the country shit. All that shit seem to be kind of interconnected, man. And all the let's deportate this and that. Let's talk about how black people are the ones committing all the crime or violent street crime. If you want to try to narrow it down to something. Who's shooting up the streets? Oh shit. Who's finna shoot up a school, man? Another little boy, man, that is being misguided. Most definitely. Not saying that black people don't. Like, there ain't no black kids ever shot up a school. I ain't trying to say it's just about a white thing. I'm just saying, why do they have this white supremacist? Because that's the key. Supremacist ideology, usually. That's I don't know. Or look up to somebody that has that type of ideology.
This case was obsessed with. He was suspended for this, and now we turn to this month when the chief says the same 13-year-old boy started scaring people once again.
On May 11, a family member saw the juvenile with a live bullet. He claimed his mother bought him the bullet and tactical gear. The next day, the family member found loaded magazines and an improvised explosive device and immediately contacted police. The student arrived at Rhodes Middle School wearing a mask, tactical gear, but left shortly thereafter.
So you have this case where a 13-year-old has shown signs, according to police, of being obsessed with mass shootings. And then the mom, 33-year-old Ashley Pardo, allegedly goes out, buys him a live bullet, buys him tactical gear, and then on top of that, you have the weapons that police say they found in the home. Police say that Pardo and her son were arrested shortly after he left school, and they served a warrant at their house, and that's where they found images like swastikas in the home. It's unclear, police say, if the boy had any kind of actual contact with white supremacy groups.
Ashley Pardo had been contacted previously by police, the school, and CPS. She appeared to be dismissive.
To be, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's San Antonio. There's a good chance she's definitely Hispanic in some kind of way, shape, or form. But just because you Hispanic don't mean you ain't no white supremacist. Like, let's be honest, man. A lot of people got my white supremacy mixed up with just like Anglo-Saxon American, blue blood Americans and Englishmen and shit like that. Nah, man, that shit was a belief of the Spaniards as well and the Portuguese. They all had a consensus that, hey, that we better than these dark-skinned people. I'm telling you. I'm talking about at a point in time history. I'm not talking about as of today, of course. Even though a lot of y'all do.
And unconcerned with her son's behavior. Her behavior is not only dangerous, it's abhorrent, especially as a parent. Ashley Pardo has been released on bond. The juvenile remains in custody at the Bexar County Juvenile Detention Facility.
Right now, Ashley Pardo is free from custody. Court records show that her bond was put at $75,000 and she was able to post that. She's now charged with aiding in commission of terrorism. Her juvenile son, just 13 years old, is.
Y'all got him. Y'all got the little boy in custody. Hopefully y'all got him by himself. I would assume y'all do. But like, damn, you let the mom get out, and the mom literally probably was teaching them this shit at this point. Like, you gotta be honest. We gotta really think about that shit. Ain't no way, bro. Ain't no way that you think that little boy just started out having a fascination with this shit, man. Just out the blue. Man, if his mom on some damn, like, occult type shit, you know what I'm saying, worshiping the devil and all that shit, nigga, you can pretty much say, you know what I'm saying, she done taught that boy a lot of that type of shit, or he done been seeing that shit from her, you know what I'm saying, and peeping that shit, and thinking this is the way to go. So she 100% responsible. At least in my opinion in this case, she 100% responsible for what that boy doing.
Is facing a terrorism charge as well, according to police, and authorities say they are the first to face these terrorism charges in the history of Bexar County, Texas, because it's a new law on the books. At this point in the story, you might be wondering, who in their right mind would allegedly enable their son's obsession with mass shootings by going out and buying tactical gear, going out and buying ammunition for their kid. Well, we found Ashley Pardo's Instagram profile. The handle is the most miserable girl. Picture after picture on her profile, it is public, shows her flipping off the camera and talking about death and showing off her tattoos like this one across her stomach that reads pain. But what we found very disturbing were some of the quotes that she had archived in her story. This is one from a book that reads, quote, "Most only think good of you if you die. After you're dead, everyone will cry and say how good you were." And then you have this quote, which says, "Waiting for this world to end. Humans are only destructive. It's sickening. That includes myself. We're not productive. We are a disease." Hey, before we get back to this story, I want to talk about something that's really important, and that is getting quality sleep. Here at Law and Crime, we work some long days. They're busy days. I'm also a dad. So when the work days up, my colleagues here at Law really helps off to a quick home. But our team, it is really shown it's give dream. Find a link to have worked as a bartender. There's a cocktail lounge that she's linked to on her Instagram that has taken a lot of heat in recent days for employing her since this story broke. In fact, we found a statement on that cocktail lounge's social media that reads, quote, "It's very hard to post and respond when whatever we say gets taken out of context. The only way to address this is to speak freely." We found out about the situation with Ashley and her charges the same way y'all did and removed her from the team immediately. Her choices in her personal life do not represent Cream. That's the name of the lounge. She worked 2 shifts a week and left fast. What she did on her own time outside of work, we had no control over. She is no longer working for Cream, and as for her bond, we did not post it. I'm sure.
Yeah, well, of course you didn't. But you can't say that you probably didn't know shit that she was doing, shit that was going on. Like, she ain't, you ain't this boisterous and loud about, or this like boldly just, you know what I'm saying, going to go get your son gear, and you ain't saying certain shit that's pretty much out of pocket in public around people. Most of these people like to drop some hints before they end up doing it because they want to be able to say, hey, you know, I let them know. I warned them. Yeah, I'm just saying, man. There's some sick shit right here.
Sure, that's public record. We understand people are upset and want to bash Cream. Just keep in mind, we were only one of her employers. We take this matter seriously. We love our patrons and promise a safe space, end quote. In the beginning of that, you hear them say that something they had said was taken out of context. Commenters were criticizing the lounge for a Facebook post or a social media post of some kind that's apparently no longer active. So we weren't able to see it. But you can see that cocktail lounge was taking a lot of criticism for employing someone who's accused of a crime like Ashley Pardo is. The police chief in San Antonio said this was the first time that someone in San Antonio had been charged with terrorism, and that has to do with the new law that aims to stop violence in the planning phase. Now, there are certainly questions about why Pardo was able to get out on bond, but also why her son was able to go back to the middle school after allegedly searching the Christchurch shooting on a school computer months earlier. Here's what the school district police chief said during that news conference about concerns that the student was able to come back.
I can simply say this, and again, because this is an active investigation, we're very cautious on what we are releasing. However, because of the fact that he was researching this material on a district device on school district campus, he did serve his time in an alternative center. Once he's done with that, he, by every legal right, he shall be returned to his home campus. And that's exactly what took place.
This is the statement that the principal of the middle school said in something that was posted on Facebook. Quote, "I want to inform you of an incident that involved a student. Our police department investigated a concern with some posts the student made online. The student was detained off campus and is being charged with terrorism. Please know, we take all potential threats seriously and act immediately to protect everyone in our care. We will always remain vigilant and ensure our learning and working environment is safe and secure."
Always the, you know what I'm saying, mumbo jumbo talk. They want to know, and specifically want to know, most people would want to know, How can a kid that's already threatened a school in the height of all these school shootings that we done been having, like, we can't keep continuing to do the same shit, drop the same bullshit ass statements every time these school shootings happen. Man, we have to always take the preventative measures. And let's be honest, if somebody threatens a school, we probably shouldn't be letting their ass back into school until we evaluate why in the hell are you on this type of time. I remember, like, not too long ago, a couple weeks ago, I got a text message because it was something about a threat maybe possibly at Court Proof, the place where I'm at, you know what I'm saying, in Mount Pleasant. I'm like, damn. Don't tell me we finna start getting that shit here now, because boy, it better not happen, bro. I'm gonna come up and light the school up too. I'm gonna come like whoever. Hey, I'm hitting them. I'm like the Uvalde father. I'm gonna come in and lay some shit down. I ain't finna sit here and let my son die while police try to figure out a game plan and a strategy and shit. Like, shots fired, we need to be making sure these kids is okay from that moment forward.
Cure. Student safety is a top priority of SAISD schools, and we want to keep families informed of situations as soon as we are able. We thank you for your support and understanding. End quote. Joining us now to break this one down is retired NYPD detective and host of the Gold Shield podcast, Tom Smith. Always great to have you on Law and Crime. I couldn't believe this story when I was reading it. It just blew my mind. Have you ever seen, and I know you've worked cases where there are threats of mass shootings, but to have the mom seemingly, according to police, almost enabling her son to have everything that he would need to carry one out. Have you ever seen something like this?
Not to this extent, not to this point of going and buying equipment, to be used in a mass shooting. Not that. This is something at a totally different level and a part of just evil that is in people. This kid didn't wake up one day and just decide to look all this up. This was told to him. This was passed on from mom about what mass shootings are, who to look up and who to research and who to maybe follow in life. I mean, it's so sad. You wonder if this kid had any control whatsoever in the upbringing that he had with this mom, pulling the strings about what may have happened or was going to happen.
I feel like one of the great challenges that law enforcement has is just how do you stop these mass shootings, because we've seen them so often. But when you have a case where the mom is seemingly enabling, according to what police are saying, her son, and CPS was involved, but she was, didn't really seem like she particularly cared, according to what the police chief in San Antonio said. Like, how do you stop this from happening? Had he actually carried something out?
Well, thankfully, the school was on top of it with seeing some of the drawings and seeing some of the conversations he was having and passing that along to law enforcement. That's where it starts. And the realization that this is going on is how you stop this. When teachers and administrators see the signs of what's called leaking that is going on with preparing or getting in a preparation stage or planning stage of these mass shootings, and being able to stop it and bring it to the attention of law enforcement is where all this starts. And hats off to them for getting the ball rolling and preventing something really tragic from happening.
Because it's one of these cases too, where apparently last year he was looking up the Christchurch, New Zealand attacks, which were just horrific. And then he gets suspended, and then he comes back to school. And you sit there, if you're a parent of one of the other kids, you're like, I don't want this kid coming back to my kid's school. But like, how do you balance it out and try to figure out how to protect the rest of the population while you also have this kid who has a mom that's apparently giving him everything he would need to turn something that appears to be a fantasy into a reality?
Right. Well, it's kind of a two. School policy is the problem. There's only a certain amount of time you can suspend a student, depending on what they're being suspended for. In-house suspension, out-house, all that. So that I get, with the amount of time and then letting him back into school. But what it does is it gives law enforcement a heads up to start monitoring him and start going up on any social media platforms that he's currently on, start a surveillance on him, which would lead to watching the mother as well. but that's where it all starts. And that's where it has to begin, with just awareness that this is a problem in this country with young people idolizing these mass shooters, Columbine, Florida, Christchurch in New Zealand, all that. It's all part of this just distortion.
It's a part of, you know what I'm saying? Feeling like the left out the other in this caste system that we have in America, where, you know, shit, yeah, I talk a lot about the race, but we got a class warfare thing going on as well. We have just a societal push for certain norms, and that it's coming in all directions. Like you say, you have the religious and spiritual, then you have the economical, and you have the way government and society should be ran. All of it is coming in so many different ways. So it's really hard to pinpoint where people's influence will come from. You know what I'm saying? But once they get to that complete dark side and start straight up idolizing school shooters and mass shooters, and most of them, yeah, have taken all the problems of society and decided that, hey, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna kill, we're gonna destroy, we're gonna become the destroyers. And it never ends well, man. Especially if they get to carry out any part of their plans on society. That's the tragedy. But this one looked like, yeah, the mother completely coached her son into this life, man. And that's sadder than anything, man.
Of what's going on with the youth today with these mass shootings and wanting to be a celebrity.
Well, and the other part too is, I mean, she's 33 years old. So I guess that would be a millennial, right? And so you have that generation that grew up. I mean, I'm part of that generation where we became aware, like we had to become aware of mass shootings because of Columbine was the first one that I can remember. And it's like you have this, it seems, generation that also there's like this minority of it that worships these mass shooters. And it's like now they're old enough to start having kids. I mean, is that something that law enforcement thinks about, that's kind of just the next era of all of this that could be happening?
Yeah, well, you hope that's not it, because that's way too many people to try to monitor and keep, under control. But what's going to be very interesting with this case is going into mom's social media and her background. You already have the kid, in what his mindset was, but now you need to do a deep dive into the mother, her social media posts, her upbringing, where was she during certain events, all that. And luckily, they did lock her up, for, the commission of terrorism and planning it. But it's going to be very interesting to see what else is in her background and where did all this start.
Well, and she was able to make bond too. And that was kind of surprising because it's this terrorism charge, which you hear someone charged with terrorism. I mean, that's pretty serious. And it was a $75,000 bond, and she was able to make it. And I know we've talked about bond before in other cases, but it seems like, just if I was I am a member of the public, that this is someone who had been in touch with authorities. Like, the point of bond is to protect the public and make sure they show up to their court dates. It feels low, $75,000 for everything police have said.
Got all muted. Look, that's definitely low. That's very low for you know what I'm saying, planning out a school shooting in so many words. Pretty much what was it? It's what was taking place. They were planning out a school shooting, man. Rhodes Elementary. And you dodged the bullet really a couple times. You know what I'm saying? For him to go to an alternative school after looking up a school shooting in the first place. So maybe I don't know, because someone would tell me, I'm sure they got a computer at home. Why would he need to do that? Like, I don't know. Like I said, they got it. Maybe that was God right there letting them search that mug at the school to make y'all aware already. Then homie go to alternative, come back, and in a few days he, you know what I'm saying? Pretty much, I know if he came back on the 8th, like the article we read, he came back on May 8th to school. Then the situation happened on the 12th. like I said, the 8th was a Thursday, so that was Thursday, Friday, weekend, of course. Then Monday, the 12th. That man scoped out the school for a couple of days, came up there with his tactical gear. I don't know if he had the iron on him or not, but hey, close. That's too close of a call. Honestly, it's way too close of a call.
Oh, absolutely. You know, the police did their job, the district attorneys did their job, and the judge failed. You know, you have to compare what they're being charged with and the severity of the crime that she's being charged with and what was going to happen to what a bail or a bond is. And this doesn't match up whatsoever. $75,000 when, like you
I
said,
agree with
the terrorism
policeman,
charge and
dog. I
$75,000
agree with this
is
nigga.
way too low. They have to start equaling each other so you keep these people in jail longer.
As far as what she's accused of buying her son, and I'm trying to think of like what the defense attorney is going to say. And it was tactical gear, and we don't specifically know what those items were, but some sort of clothing that you would think a mass shooter would wear if they showed up at a school. And then also ammunition. There were magazines at the home, and then there was an instance where he had a bullet with him, and then the mom had apparently, according to
They had gear to go and shoot some shit up. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily military grade tactical, but you know what I'm saying? Maybe armed civilian, armed security type, you know what I'm saying, tactical, you know what I'm saying? Pockets with components so they can carry whatever explosives could have been, all type of different shit, you know what I'm saying? Knives and whatnot, like, yeah. You know what tactical for the most part means, man. They was getting them ready. She bought him a helmet. This nigga ain't riding no bikes, ain't skateboard, ain't doing none of that. That's when you supposed to be getting the kid a helmet. You don't riding a bike. She like, shit, man, let's go get you a couple of ARs and you know what I'm saying, you some all black, you know what I'm saying, thermals and shit like that or whatever, man. Like, I don't know. Shit, man, this woman is she ill. But you can see, you know what I'm saying, like, if we'll really go look at her Instagram, man, 'cause I went and looked at it and it's definitely all that, all that emo dark shit. She was pretty much Satan worshiping, you know what I'm saying? I think she got a picture of Charles Manson on her somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Got a picture of devil on her thigh, I want to say, or like the Baphomet head. Like she on that shit to the man, boy. Yeah.
a family member
That coochie possessed, man. When she possessed with something.
bought that. I could see a defense attorney saying, what's the crime here? He likes wearing, it's Texas. You're going out hunting. This is what a 13-year-old would wear in the backyard. At the same time, it's Texas as well. Very strong Second Amendment state. So she's, the argument being made, and it wouldn't be my argument, that she's very interested in having proper gun ownership for her son. As an investigator, how do you build a case that pushes against that if that's what the defense would say in court?
Oh, pretty easy. All you need to do is you line up both people, the son and the mother, and you start comparing social media posts. What were the conversations they were having, texting each other, emailing each other, whatever it might be? You start doing interviews in and around them, other family members, neighbors, and you start to see if there was a conspiracy. You start to see if there was a predication or a planning to this, this event. It's going to be pretty easy to kind of match that up. And then if that is done, the whole, well, it's just closed, it's all that, might be blown apart. And hopefully it is, because if you look at it at face value, that's exactly what was going on. It was a preparation stage or a planning stage that was going on with this. But social media is always important with cases like this, because they can't hide from it. You can't delete it. You can't do away with it. It's all there already. So they're going to have to start matching up and putting together a timeline of conversations that brought up this possible mass shooting event.
When it comes, I know you've worked cases of threats against mass shootings, and I think about the parents of the other kids at the school and how aware that they were when he came back from suspension of what he was suspended for. In your experience, how much information does a school district or a school district police department have to give parents if you have a student who's a minor, but also was searching some pretty disturbing stuff online and is returning to sit next to your kid in class?
Yeah, unfortunately, that's up to each school, and that's the problem. There should be an overriding, mechanism in place to notify parents of that school district of what was going on. You don't want to give particulars about names and addresses and all that. That's fine, but they should be very well aware of a threat that was made in a school that their kids go to.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I say, even with down here, I think we had a pretty good with some whatever situation happened. I don't know what was it, a threat or what that was made that day that I got that message, but the school districts seem to, get their messages out to the parents quickly. Like, hey, my son was in the CDC. He not even in court proof. You know what I'm saying? So I seem to, get the message out there pretty quickly. You know what I'm saying? Like if they have taken care of a situation, but it seemed like they sent the message after they resolved everything because they said everything was okay and all that stuff like that. I ain't seen nothing like, in the heat of whatever the moment might have been. And people might have been talking about if your kid was at court proof. I didn't know nothing about it till I seen the message. But yeah, this is a scary situation to even think about, man. Like your child at school, you thinking, hey man, he good, and what happens is this shit, bro. Like somebody at the school with tactical gear ready to take your child out. And the crazy thing about it, like little bitty things that happen around here, like, you know what I'm saying? I remember being in what was it like court, I think it was court proof, you know what I'm saying? And they had one little Mexican kid, man, from the like I think it was Andy Sims, man. He pulled a knife on a little kid, man. This boy was like 6 years old, man. So it's wild to me, like the fact that we be still seeing that type of shit going down. But yeah, man. Ashley, man, I think we can consistently say, man, like you was out of there. You was out of there. Like the shit you own, the shit you done did, man, you bugging. Damn, man. I don't really know what to say with that, man. Real talk. She all the way out of there. Wildin'. But yeah, man. That's really what all I got on Miss Purdue or Pordo or whatever. But I do want to share, you know what I'm saying? Because this was connecting to my Samantha Ruppernell shit. I want to share a little bit of this case right here where a man, you know what I'm saying, who they was all meeting on this little chat room shit that I had talked about. I forgot what it was called. You know, so you gotta go look back at the video. But he was planning out like 7 mass shootings. A Florida man. I want to say military trained and all, man. This is a good one, man. Like, yeah, we're gonna check out a little bit of this. I ain't gonna watch the whole thing. Might have to speed through some of it, you know what I'm saying? But let's go. Matter of fact, let me go and turn the speed up on this mud so we can get a little quicker playback, you know what I'm saying? So let's check this out.
It was going to happen. This guy was ready to go, had all the equipment, had the propensity to do it. It's just a matter of what day was going to set him off to go do it.
A Florida sheriff is not holding back when talking about the arrest of this man. Pictures show that deputies found 18 guns, thousands of rounds of ammunition, police uniforms, and allegedly plans to carry out mass shootings at 7 locations. Allegedly, he gloated online about his loadout being set for, quote, war. Then on social media, he allegedly made it look like he was a member of law enforcement as he flaunted the guns allegedly in his possession. But then, on top of all of that, another shocking twist in this story. Deputies say he was allegedly in touch with a Wisconsin teenager for months before she died carrying out a school shooting last year. We're on the case presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart. The sheriff in Palm Beach County, Florida, says his deputies have stopped a mass shooting before it happened because they were able to arrest a man they believe had stalked several locations and had the weapons to do it. Damian Allen is now under arrest. Deputies say they first learned of the 22-year-old through a tip that came into the FBI. Deputies raided his home in Loxahatchee, Florida, and they say they found 18 guns and 12,000 rounds of ammunition. This is one of the pictures the sheriff showed at a news conference. On top of the weapons, deputies say Allen allegedly had multiple Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office uniforms, a badge, a PBSO laptop, even the belt and holster that deputies use. They say it's unclear how Allen got his hands on all of that. We found Allen's Instagram page, and he has allegedly posted multiple videos of him dressed up as a deputy. And deputies say those videos are far more than just some 22-year-old playing dress up and pretend police.
Some information we have on this is that there are online communications with other individuals who discuss carrying out mass violence, not just here in Florida and Palm Beach County, but in the nation. Allen expressed support of radically and ethically motivated violent extremism and threats of mass violence to include identifying several places, I believe it was 7, that he would like to strike. This included a police department, and in other conversations, people who online were to discuss churches. The use of guerrilla warfare and tactics and ambushing to carry out the mass violence attacks.
We went through court records for Allen, and in the probable cause affidavit, we see Allen talking on TikTok about his alleged extremist views and violent attacks. In May of last year, deputies say Allen was allegedly talking to a user on TikTok who they say wanted to do a, quote, black church that was near me, but you know. Allen later replies, quote, I got a AR-500.
You see that shit? I ain't even gotta make it race. I ain't gotta make it racial. And this is with Samantha Rope now. I already talked about her white supremacist ties. Why are all these mass shooters have white supremacist ties damn near, bro? And people want to ignore this shit, want to say, no, they're not even counting all the black people out here shooting each other in the streets. Bro, gang shootings has its own classification. Street violence is looked at in a whole different way. 9 times out of 10, it is organized. You do have gang units working those cases. This right here is literally out of the blue, go and shoot some shit up. Even though it's not out of the blue, of course, we seeing now, they literally be staking out places. Samantha Rupp now, you know what I'm saying? Natalie Rupp now. Hey, I'm right by a black church. I want to shoot that mug up. What you think? Man, this shit is different, bro. It's wild out here, man. It's wild out here. And for people that act like these are not legitimate threats to our society, something that's helping to chaos society from within, man, it's crazy. Let's focus on these niggas. Let's focus on these essays. Let's focus on these women. Let's focus on the gays and the trans. Hey, I'm not saying I ain't got my reservations with some people in different situations and all that different shit like that. But let's focus on the stuff that's really important first, and then let's work our way down. Let's not try to fix the small problems before the big problems. And white supremacy in this country, you know what I'm saying? Rich supremacy in this country, those two things, hey, we need to address that. But yeah, we're going to continue, man.
100 steel plates, at level 4 helmet, IFAK kits. My loadout is set up for war. Deputies say that user who Allen was communicating with was Natalie Rupno. That name might sound familiar to you. She was a 15-year-old girl who killed a teacher and student at the Abundant Life Christian School in Madison, Wisconsin in December of last year. She also injured 6 other people. Court records show that after Rupno took her life, police in Wisconsin got her phone from her pocket and traced the conversation that she was having with Allen in Florida. Here's another video, allegedly of Allen from his Instagram, and this time you can see he's in military fatigues and carrying what looks like an AR-style rifle. Deputies also say that Allen and Rupno allegedly established a conspiracy to commit mass shootings. In June, Allen writes, quote, "We go down together," to which Rupno replies, correct, and says, I love you. To which Alan replies, I love you more. Another key exchange was this one from May of last year when both Rupno and Alan were talking about how many guns they allegedly had. Alan talks about how many magazines he has, including 10 that can hold 30 rounds each, and how he also allegedly has smoke grenades. Rupno replies she has 2 of her father's handguns. 2 handguns is what police in Wisconsin say that teen used when she attacked her school. The conversation then continues with Alan stating, quote, once you get to a point, there's no going back, and quote, I got 7 places I would strike. The police department also. Guerrilla warfare tactics, ambushing, and blitz. Deputies in South Florida say Alan spoke with the Wisconsin school shooter from May to September of last year. Their conversations ended less than 2 months before Rupno attacked her school. As far as what...
And that's the biggest problem about this shit is literally they have a place where they literally have the videos, they have the motivation to go do it. They talk about these things. Of course, they probably messaging each other on their personal phones outside of that place, but they got a place where they all meet, man. It's like this. I forgot that damn shit, but it's one website, and it's probably multiple of these type of websites out there. And literally, they're bonding under the idea of committing mass murder. Now it's a lot easier to say the shit than actually do the shit. Of course, you never know who you're gonna run up on, but of course they're picking soft targets, schools, churches. They did say the police off, but that shit, man, that's very far fetched. You're gonna go and you're gonna go to war with the police. You're gonna have to have multiple people for that. When you know what I'm saying, you're not gonna just come on now, and especially in order to say you want to take over like a police station or something, or you trying to do some shit like that. I don't know what they were meant when I know what he said. They said something about one of them being a police station or police. So I wouldn't say police station because they probably gonna be out of there. If they going after the police. That's easily for them to get, you know what I'm saying, hemmed up and killed. That was probably last on the list. You know what I'm saying? Because regardless if you hit them out and while they in a squad car type shit, you know what I'm saying, or if you try to go to the station, then they gonna have backup immediately. They coming for one of the brothers. And I ain't talking about black brothers. I'm talking about them brothers in blue. Real talk. Them boy, that's a bond that they would not let you break. That's like shit. You talking about joining the gang, can't never get out. Let's see some more of this, man. I'm probably ready to end this. So let me
what could be the motivation? And according to social media, he loved to dress up as a PBSO deputy. We noticed on this image that was provided by the Palm Beach County Sheriff of all the weapons they say they found at Alan's house, you can see that there was a swastika as well as what looks like a Russian flag on the sleeve of a military shirt. In court documents, it does appear.
Swastika. Key, man. Like, I don't have to make a race for these motherfuckers. It's always them that's ready to target black. They want to go target the black church, the black grocery store, the black community in any way, shape, or form, bro. Gotta pay attention to that shit, man. And then they talking about the inner city violence, man. Bro, why y'all raising so many damn kids that's ready to go shoot up schools, man? Like, literally. We got too many out there, man. In the South, in the North, they out there. You never know if your kid is in this shit, bro. Until, I ain't gonna say you never know, but you'll never know completely. Like, his like, especially if you're not watching them, like you're not really paying attention to them and looking at them and talking to them, you'll never know. Like, and then you got parents that probably are encouraging this shit. How much do we know that just like with the mother in this whole other situation in San Antonio, how we know how many parents are not encouraging these little motherfuckers to do this shit? She think her dad's stupid. He like, shit, I don't give a damn. She go shoot up the school. They don't let too many Indians in that motherfucker anyway, or some crazy shit. You never know why they decide, all right, you know what? Just let them click out. They probably they life feel like they life ruined, and they gotta let their child ruin their life too, man. I don't know. It don't make sense to me, but I'm telling you, it's a lot more of these parents really orchestrating this shit too. We just, you know what I'm saying, I ain't getting all the plan details and shit behind it, bro. It's like some people are smarter than others or move smarter than others. Not saying that this shit is a smart thing to do or the cool thing to do, but this is sad, man. This is real sad, bro. Let this shit continue a little bit.
Appear that Rupno harbored racist and anti-Semitic views. And one question it seems that PBSO deputies are trying to answer right now is, how did Allen get his hands on so much gear that PBSO deputies use? The uniforms, the belts, the holsters. It seems from looking at his social media, he was obsessed with law enforcement. This is even a picture he took of 2 PBSO vehicles outside of a Walmart. And here's a picture of that belt and holster in his closet that he posted on Instagram too. This is what the sheriff's office had to say.
He posted several videos of him wearing a full PBSO uniform, which is very similar to what myself and the sheriff are wearing today. It included a badge, a name tag with his name on it, and all the equipment that is issued to PBSO officers. There's a Class B uniform, which is a less dress on the short sleeve version, but he had 2 or 3 of those uniforms, which at that time were still looking where how they were obtained. He had a gun belt, a taser, a radio, and other pieces of equipment, including a fake body cam video to make it more realistic. He showed himself operating a vehicle that resembled a law enforcement car. I believe it was a Crown Vic, if I'm not mistaken. And he added a police package, a laptop stand, and a police computer in there. And it was operational, and he would take videos of him standing in it and sitting in it.
There's also the question of how this 22-year-old was able to afford so much gear, so many weapons. Deputies say they're still looking into that, and it's unclear if he legally owned all the weapons they say was in his possession. Deputies say he was living with his family. The FBI is also involved in this investigation, and deputies say there could be federal charges. Currently, Allen is facing charges of written or electronic threat of a mass shooting or terrorist act, using a 2-way communication device to facilitate a felony, and illegally impersonating a police officer. He's currently being held in the Palm Beach County Jail. The longtime sheriff in Palm Beach County did not hold back when talking about this case.
This is disturbing that somebody can get these type of items off the internet. It baffles me, to be honest with you. But this is a dangerous individual. Can you imagine the damage he would have done with 12,000 rounds of ammunition and fully automatic ARs? Unquestionably, this is one of the best arrests that I've seen in a long time that has prevented people from dying, because I guarantee you he was going to do that.
A former classmate of Allen spoke to a local TV station in West Palm Beach, WPTV, who said that Allen was a member of her high school's JROTC and would often talk about guns. And she said, quote, "I soon realized he wasn't normal. He would always talk about guns, and he was in JROTC, and he would just constantly talk about those things. And when I would try to sway the conversation to any other topic, that wouldn't work." Joining us now to talk more about this case is former Palm Beach County State Attorney Dave Ehrenberg, who's also...
Yeah, that would be nice. You know what I'm saying? That pretty much explain this. To stop the sharing there. As you can see, man, this shit right here is very hectic, man. It's real shit going on out here, man. And we definitely need to be aware of our kids, students, like the peers who they going to school with. We need to be aware. Make sure the school is always being transparent with you on what's going on at school. Then you ain't got to be friends or know everybody's name, of course, but you need to be quite aware who could be problematic, what's going on, like what people are doing at school, what's happening. Make sure your kid knows to try to be nice as much as possible, even though they don't necessarily save you from a school shooting, of course. But just be prepared. And when they get old enough to a point where they kind of can have some control of their own, because my kid right now, he's still 4. I hate for him to even be in a situation like that, to be honest with you. Like, because what can you tell him to do, man? Boy, that'd be so hurtful, man, for that. Like, it's like with the elementary stuff, the Uvalde stuff, man. Like, you get bullied and you go to the elementary school. These people have lost it. People have lost it out here, man, these days, man. But on that note, man, I am out, man. Yeah. I'ma try to leave you with some encouraging words, man. Cause today, man, we have been faced with a lot of bullshit, but it's always the brighter side at the end of the tunnel, man, for sure, man.
But then again, everybody operate off logic. What's good for them?
Sure.
It's true.
And that create opportunists.
Mm-hmm.
And that create, lack of code. And you see all type of weirdo shit going on, because everybody operating off logic. This is a good move. This is a good look.
It's a good look for me.
Yeah, but it's codes and it's rules. And that's where the heart gonna stop you.
That's right.
From doing goofy shit and doing, disloyal and just playing yourself for the opportunity. That's the least value part of the game, is the heart. You're gonna consume the opportunity, and then it's gonna be done, and you're gonna have on your record that the way you got to the opportunity was fraud. And that's not gonna go nowhere.
And I think that's very inspirational, man. mind and the heart got to work as one, not as one, but they have to balance each other. You know, I think we are dealing with a lack of heart in our society right now, man. So Lord help us, man. You know, I don't come to you all the time myself, but we definitely need you in these times we're in right now. Amen, man.